Hello and welcome everyone to the Collegiate Chess League Spring 2024 season's last match of the entire league. This is the Division 8 finals. This is University of Pittsburgh versus Washington State University. They've just started. Let's dive right in. Here we go. Pittsburgh versus Washington State. Last match of the entire season. This is the last day, last match. This is the only one that hasn't been played yet. So these two teams, they rescheduled to right now. And yeah, the games are underway. Round one, here we go. So I see Elite Barbs, Marco Melishuk versus Major Gambit Disorder, Drew Bunch. So this is board 4 versus board 1. We watched Washington State last weekend. They took down Sacred Heart University, 8.5, 7.5 in the semifinals. Elite Barbs, board 4 from Pittsburgh at 1527, up against the 2100. So Major Gambit Disorder, one of the big favorites in this matchup. I got to bring us to Momoshi, actually, who's even lower rated, 1497. This is the team captain, Parker Miller from Pittsburgh, playing against Time Play, Brian Lee, also team captain. So this is captain versus captain right now. White's already castled, rook to the center. Black yet to castle and can do so now. Grabbing a pawn, threatening perhaps queen c6 check. And if black were to block, that would drop the rook. So we see castles now. It's a knight versus a bishop. Rook here, threatening to take some material. So probably the queen will tuck back. Computer's also saying rook a b1 makes a lot of sense. Guys, I don't know what I'm going to do after this match. I'm not going to have any more CCL matches to commentate until, well, we will have a summer season. We'll be bringing back the weekly summer arenas for the prizes, the membership prizes. Probably we'll do some ambassador program tournaments, actually. We missed out on Chess Madness, but we might bring back April arenas. But yeah, CCL is going to be done. The main team format we're going to miss out on until next school year. That's going to be like September. So it's going to be a while. All right, rook sacrifice. Yeah, that move, it's been kind of begging for it, not going to lie. But this is a huge blunder, actually. B3 is going to allow queen to D4. And what are you going to do about this? Yeah. Time Play sniffs it out immediately. So the exchange sack doesn't quite work. And yeah, Momoshi's going to go down here to Brian. So top wards from Washington State, they're strong. They're going to get the job done here. Let's check on the top wards from Pittsburgh because there's an absolute wolf among sheep here from Pittsburgh. Corey Ives, 2588. No title, no profile picture, only business. This guy's up against Andrew, board 4 from Washington State. Over 1,000 elo difference. Yeah. That is a recipe for success here in Division 8. I thought Sacred Heart had some strong players on their top two boards. This guy is 2588. I can't get over that. Surely he's got to be pretty close to National Master title. Someone do a USCF search for this guy's rating. How far off is he from 2200? Because, yeah, 2588, that's pretty good. All right. Bishop takes, rook lifts attacking the bishop back, making sure the a-pawn's still defended. Bishop tucks back to the fianchetto. So Corey up a comfortable 2-pawn advantage. Bring the rook to the open d-file. The only thing not desirable about Corey's position is the knight on a6. But assuming that knight will find its way back into the center somehow at some point. There is one last game that I haven't looked at here in round 1. And that is here, Fang Hu versus Supreme Dragon 20. So Supreme Dragon, that's Ty Roberts, the board 2 from Pittsburgh. And Fang is Patrick Perry, board 3 from Washington State. Maybe we do a prediction in the chat for the early birds. And yeah, this could be the very last prediction of the entire season. Who's going to win? The season finale. We will be giving out a season survey for all the players and the captains. So if you guys have any feedback, you can definitely let us know about it. Wow, 25K all in on Washington State. That's more channel points than I thought were out there. 0 for Pittsburgh, but any lucky gamblers could try to stake it. That's Brody. Brody's all in, perhaps, but 3 people on Washington State. Well, anyways, bishop g5, attacking the knight on f6. Knight giving that bishop a taste of its own medicine. Moves with the attack. Bishop tucks back. Bishop trade, pawn takes. This is an isolated queen pawn. Knight now. Pressure here. Rook could try to attack both the knights, but maybe there's like rook here. Probably yeah. Probably like takes. You don't want to worry about the rook here, right? You'll just take this knight. Say go ahead, take this rook, and then good luck getting this knight out of here. So the idea is to win both knights for the price of 1 rook. Here, the computer's saying f5, but this makes a lot of sense, tucking the knight back. So white kind of calling the bluff, attacking the e3 pawn. But this is still a long-term weakness, a liability in the position, an isolated pawn for sure. Hello, Sir Chesalot. How's it going? I see someone predicted 20 on Pittsburgh. There goes 1 pair of knights. Rook to the c file. Pressure on c2. You could just push that pawn as so. And now probably you want to contest the d file. Flight square first, but now white maybe can double on the d file. Maybe. That's exactly what they do. So now you can't contest it. All right, I've also noticed there's 2 results already. So Brian and Drew, top 2 boards for Washington State. They get the job done. As expected, Washington State to an early 2-0 lead. But the top 2 boards from Pittsburgh, they're not done yet. So Corey, he's working his magic against Andrew. Should be able to mop this up as a win to the Pittsburgh column. Knight attacking the pawn. Pawn push, attacking the knight. Knight can come back. You don't want to dive in. You might get trapped. Knight here. Rook's doubled. Knight, that's attacking. Black goes for the back rank. Bishop block, so not taking, inviting the second rook in, saying you're going to still have to deal with my knight, and attacking this pawn. So we could see this, but the problem is if the knight takes, even if the rook takes, well, this knight's not going to hang. So Andrew putting up some resistance here against the top board from Pittsburgh. We see one rook traded. Rook to a5. Let's see. Andrew does not go for the pawn. That was a tactic that was missed. He could have taken on a5. So, opportunity now. Yeah, king f8. That's not much you could do. If you move the knight or move the pawn, for example, then the bishop takes here. So now we see the tactic played out. So Andrew saw it, just was in no rush to play it. But Corey's still up 2 pawns, 2 outside pass pawns, opposite colored bishops. This should still be pretty easily converted for the 2500. Let's check back in with Fang and Supreme. Patrick and Ty. 30 channel points now for Pittsburgh. It's a lot of confidence. I don't know why Brody's investing in Washington State. I don't know if he's been following their season or if he's just a gambling addict. All in for 19, well, now up to 30 points. So, okay. Anyways, rook takes on b6. Parries left with the outside pass pawn, but he drops the e-pawn. So black technically up a pawn, but white has that outside passer. Parry very low on time, less than 30 seconds, to Ty's 240. You don't like elite barbs? Why is that? Have you played against them before? I don't know all of the Edwardsville lore in Clash Royale. Oh, okay. King up to e5, saying go ahead, take my f-pawn. I'll take your b-pawn. That b-pawn is white's most valuable asset. At the same time, it very well could be their biggest weakness. King goes into opposition. Rook check forces the king back. What are the average ratings of the teams? Ooh, Eval didn't like this. Eval wanted a rook check first. So now black has 2 pawns. They're separated. White's king is on the back rank. White's pawn 2 moves away. Yeah, after this, now the king can never step to the f-file. Going here allows king c7, but then there's rook c8. Whoa! Oh my goodness. Perry messed that up. He didn't insert rooks. Wait. Or sorry, I was saying rook c8, but no, it's just a draw. It was just a draw, but this was a big blunder. Here you need to leave the rook on the board. But no, trading it, now black is just up the pawn, and this is good technique here. He boxes the king out, and there goes the pawn. So, Ty Roberts, a close one. Washington State could have had a lead. Let me give Corey the point. Corey did end up converting that. And now it's up to Ty. Ty's going to tie things up here at 2 each. No pun intended. Oh, sorry. I gave 2. It's 1 point. All right. 2-2 after 1 round. Second round about to begin when the players are ready. I think Washington State, they have the more balanced team for sure. Their top 2 boards, both over 2,000. Ty here as board 2, only 1920. A little shaky here against Patrick, who very well could have held him to a draw with a little bit better technique there in the end game. But the time management proved to be too difficult for Patrick Perry, and Ty Roberts gets the job done in the end, tying the score up. Here we have round 2 now. Andrew versus Ty. Andrew's the board 4 at 1,500. So, going to be a tough matchup here as well, but definitely a lot easier than playing against Corey. Yeah, what are the average ratings? Sorry, the rosters, if you look at the roster list, Division 8, the team cap is 1950. So the starting ratings for Washington State was 1846, and for Pittsburgh, 1918. So yeah, both these teams, they're in the same division. Okay, this is a blunder. Andrew castled. So yeah, queen trade, knight in, castles, and there goes your rook in the corner. So let's see. Can we rescue the knights? Clearly the bishop has some words to say about this. Takes here, but now the knight can escape. Or bishop here. Looked like a fork, but actually, hold up. Why are these players playing so fast? If takes, there's check, fork. Crazy stuff happening. Crazy stuff. King to f1. No castling. But yes, completely winning. Completely winning. Andrew castled early, missed the rook in the corner. So, yeah, board 4. It's okay to lose the top 2 boards. These are expected results in the first 2 rounds, but you would like to see a bit more resistance put up. I think Andrew had a better game against the stronger, higher rated board 1 from Pittsburgh. Let's take a look. Speaking of Corey Ives, top board, how he's doing. He's now got the white pieces up against Patrick Perry. And yeah, strong pawn chains for both sides. Both sides having a connect 4. But it looks like white has more of a control over the pawn breaks. Mainly c5, which is on the book right there, being played and supported as well. Patrick is just playing. These players are playing like it's bullet. Corey Ives is up to 5-16. Mr. Perry still over 4:45 on the clock. These players are almost 20 moves deep. Knight into b5, looking at the c7 square. Queen comes back, keeping an eye out for it. I wonder if you could take on a7. That'd probably be crazy. Lo and behold, there it is. I thought bishop d7. I thought bishop d7 was going to be annoying. But then maybe white just plays b5, b6, a4. Looking to bring the knight back to b5. The computer is saying just go for g4. Just go all out. Knight here, knight back to b5. Yeah. I mean, black could take, double isolate the b pawns. But Corey did just win a pawn out of it. Hello, chess player. All right, we've looked at the top 2 boards from Pittsburgh. Let's see how Washington State's going to. Ty Roberts already getting a point. Yeah, just a resignation. Had enough at this point. So, rough opening. Early castles. Gets torn to shreds by a knight. Let's check in with the team captain, Mamoshi from Pittsburgh. Let's give Ty his second point. He's 2 for 2. He's going to have some rest before the second half. He's going to keep an eye out on his teammates' games as he's given his team a 1-point lead here. Mamoshi, lowest rated player, now up against the top board. Major gambit disorder. with the white pieces. Yeah, black yet to castle, but now has a semi-open G file to work with. Honestly, I like these pieces a lot for black. Now, this piece is a menace, and if the rook were to move right now, it'd be a little early because, well, say goodbye to pretty much everything. So this is a really strong knight for sure. And rook here, watch out for the bishop as well. So, yeah, castles definitely is a thing. And then you got to be ready for b4, b5. That can be definitely very scary. Good news from Momoshi is their clock times are about even. Can you look at a game? I'm looking at a couple games right now. Queen lifts up to d3. That connects the rooks. It also defends the knight, gets out of the pen. We do see the castle. And now, as I was expecting, b4, b5. We see exactly just that. The bishop's hit has to go back. Then the knight's going to be hit. And then white's pieces really activate on the queen side. So opposite side castles. We see bishop takes on f3 first. So the queen should take. Chess player, maybe on my own personal stream, but not on this one. Sorry. Are you in the Collegiate Chess League by any chance? Just a random question. Let's check in with Brian. This is the team captain from Washington, Brian Lee. Time played 23. And there's a monster knight on e6. So, yes, knight attacks the queen. Queen's going to tuck back. This is also opposite side castles. But the major difference here is the activity of the minor pieces. So, computer wants c5. And the idea is to just completely crash through on the queen side. h5, elite barbs, Marco. Heart in the right place, trying to open up for the rooks against white's king. But unfortunately, white's just faster to the punch here. c5 hits, and it hits hard because you're going to play either c6, or if you take, you're going to have an accident on c7 waiting to happen. He's one of the Brody viewers. Huge. He's a little confused by it, it seems. All right, guys, which game do we look at? Someone asked why white's not, or why white is crushing here. What happened to the queen? We just lost a queen. Ooh, look at this. Queen b3, major tactics. You got to put a rook on e8 to guard. Otherwise, this is what happens. b5, knight b6, fork, sacrifice. And now bishop takes on e6. You get the knight right back plus interest. There goes the queen. Botez gambit. And now white just follows through. Yeah, c5 coming. I like bishop to d4. We could see a rook coming over. That's a strong bishop. No pawn can kick it out. It's on a nice outpost right in the center of the board, but major gambit disorders up a queen. Rook comes to the d file. Full intention to take out that bishop. Pawn push, and now rook sacrifice. Of course, that was pinning the f pawn, which was pretty annoying. Now the d pawn gets solidified with c5. That is a connected pass pawn, but c5 itself is also pretty weak. Here we could see f4 maybe. It's a little much because then g3 becomes extra weak. So white's just going to leave the pawns there intact. We see a trade. Taking with the f pawn, I am surprised personally, but it's really not a big deal. You're up a queen for a rook. All right. Rook here. There's going to be some accidents coming. Queen up. Rook check. Anyways, you drop a pawn, but Major Gambit Disorder does not care. All right. Let's check in with Elite Barbs and Brian. Brian versus Marco. Okay, so c6 was played. And then black plays b6 to keep things closed. White has yet to push the A or B pawns to really try to add into the attack. So, dead even material. The A pawn is very weak. King A7 looks like it's needed. And then what? There goes a knight. Yeah, the knight that was a fork. Bishop trade, rook lifts, probably rook a3. No, rook's doubled on the knight. This is just completely crushing for Brian. So yeah, top two boards again from Washington State. Gonna do great. Although Brian's in time scramble. This is a hectic, crazy position. Black's making contact on g3. Doubling on the h-file, threatening mate. Rook comes over to h3, blocking the rooks. We could see some trades. Pawn takes. King is opened up. Queen check. That's a free queen. Botez gambit. Brian takes that and resigns. Okay, actually, all the points just came tumbling in. Corey's up to 2. Major Gambit Disorder's up to 2. And Brian's up to 2. So the top two boards sweep the first two rounds. It's 4-4. Yeah, we're going to have to see some ties broken here in the second half. Who's going to falter first? And the bottom boards now have a chance to get some points amongst themselves. We're going to be seeing Patrick Perry versus Marco. Parker versus Andrew. How many Botez Gambits this weekend? I mean, there was one game in the last match where it was like, I want to say like 3 in one game. Take care, chess player. All right, second half. This is a close match so far. The top boards have been perfect. Can they continue? Or at some point, will they hit a wall? It's going to be interesting to see Corey versus Drew in the final round, as well as against Brian. I mean, Brian's a strong player here, over 2,000. He's in the 2K plus club, much like Brody in the chat. Ty versus Brian's going to be big, also in the last round. Honestly, I think Washington State might be the favorite on the bottom two boards. Ty versus Brian's going to be really important, of course, right? Can Pittsburgh make up for it with their board two? Can Corey sweep as his rating is expecting from him? We have an early G4 here from White. G5 now, making contact with the knight. Knight's going to have to go backwards. Unless you want to go forwards to G4. Probably don't want to do that because you might get trapped. So knight back to D7. Bishop comes out, just developing. And I'm expecting like F4, F5, honestly, at some point. And probably Queen D2 and Castle Long for White. These two players, this is the closest ratings that they're going to have. So this is a huge point on the line for both of these teams. Andrew, bottom board for Washington State. Momoshi, team captain from Pittsburgh, Parker. I don't know how he's listed as board 3 compared to Marco. Marco is elite barbs at 1520, but they're pretty close in rating. It can be interchangeable. But yeah, we have Marco versus Patrick Perry here. And yeah, this is where I think Washington State has the edge here. Fang, Patrick Perry, I think he's got a good chance to get 2 points against both the Pittsburgh players. So the Pittsburgh bottom boards, they're going to have to really pick it up here if their team is going to survive the second half of this match. Let's take a look at, we've got Major Gambit Disorder versus Ty Roberts. This is also a close point. And maybe I can take a look at the brackets and how they got here, actually. So, in Division 8, by the way, there's some cash on the line. Winner takes home $400. The loser is guaranteed still $200. So the winner can double their money. Pittsburgh Panthers had the semifinals in this division was a nail biter from both halves. Pittsburgh Panthers winning in overtime, not only overtime, but actually double overtime. Or is it triple overtime? No, double OT. 13-11. So it was tied 8-8, then it was tied 10-10, and then Pittsburgh had a 3-1 win against Far Eastern. Meanwhile, we actually watched Washington State beat Sacred Heart in the last round, 8.5 to 7.5. So pretty much as close as it gets. But yeah, both these teams, they were at the top of their group. Neither of them had to play in round 1. They both were already in quarterfinals. Pittsburgh in their first round winning against Puerto Rico, 10.5, 5.5. And Washington State by the same score, beating UMass. So, yeah, I mean, strong teams here. Last match of the season. Who's going to be the champion? And who's going to go home second place? Got to wait for next season before they can play again. All right, so actually we have a pawn advantage for Supreme Dragon, Ty Roberts. Yeah, queen takes c2. And this would be a huge point for the board 2 from Pittsburgh if they can take down the board 1 from Washington State. Queen's attacked. Not a happy camper. This queen's going to have to go into a discovery. No. Says, all right, I don't like where I want to go, so I'm going to attack you and see how you like it. The computer's calling for queen h3. And yeah, queen h6. There's got to be some knight discoveries here. So what was best after this? You just go queen h6. Knight takes on d5. And then queen h4. And just give up that pawn. But Ty says, I'm going to try to hold on to the material, attack you. But now queen h3 played. So the major gambit disorder, maybe gambiting the c-pawn, but is now in a good spot here. Very low time compared to the 4 minutes for Ty. But now Ty is in a tough pickle. His queen is hanging. His knight is hanging. He's got no more attacks on the enemy queen. He's going to have to line himself up with the bishop for discoveries. So Drew Bunch, he's going to get some material back here. If not, just a better position. Queen h6, top move. He's going to have to follow up with like g5. Not the best. So after grabbing a pawn, his queen just runs out of squares. Good piece activity here for white. Knight h4, nice try by black, but not falling for it. This is just a free piece. Oof. Maybe he's going to try for this, but queen comes back, pins the pawn. The knight can leave afterwards. So, computer's even saying g4 is possible here. Yeah. Tie's going to go down. So, Drew Bunch can hold on to this advantage. We actually already have a result. Oh my goodness. The board 4 from Washington State, getting a huge point against team captain Parker Miller. Queen takes on d6. Good luck trying to castle. Pawn attacks the knight. There goes the bishop. Taking and, okay, takes back. Bishop here is just a Botez gambit again. Picking up a rook. Oh, man. Rough stuff from Mimoshi. That's a big point for Washington State on one of the lower boards. Can Marco make up for it against Perry? Doesn't look like it. Yeah. This, to me, was the difference maker. Washington State is just a more well-rounded team on the bottom two boards. Elite barbs with the white pieces. Down a queen. Another Botez gambit. Oh, classic. D4, takes. Say goodbye. That is unfortunate. The queens are not safe here, folks. So, looking great for the bottom two boards. Looking great here for the top board. Washington State's going to take a big lead here in round 3. So, Pittsburgh, they got their backs against the wall in round 4 coming up. Okay, these games not over quite yet. And this one, yeah, it's going to be a fork. That's going to be an exchange plus the piece already. They're going to be up a rook after this trade. This is looking great. Let's check in with Corey. Corey versus Brian. Oh, and Brian's crushing as well. Look at this sacrifice. We got to look at this one. This is going to be Washington State's sweep coming up here in round 3. Queen up, knight fork, trade off the bishop, but then f6, force the bishop back, knight in, pawn push, and here we have the move. Bishop takes g6. That's already a forced mate, if you can believe it or not. Because if the f-pawn takes, well, say hello to my f-pawn, that's going to be a fork plus the rook plus a promotion to a new queen. If you take with the h-pawn, I guess just queen h4. Queen h4 now, allowing h6. Now bishop takes g6. Not as good as it once was. Knight takes, not even taking with check. But Corey Ives at 25.88. He's just getting absolutely demolished here on the king side. All of black's pieces, what are they doing? Even the pieces near the king, they're not coordinated. Knight takes with a check, with a discovery, with a threat of a push. Bishop takes, I mean, you don't even have to take the rook. Queen takes, you're threatening every type of mate imaginable. Oh no, Pittsburgh. The end of the season coming up soon. I mean, a sweep in round 3 after being tied 4-4. That's going to be devastating. Knight takes. Corey has that pre-moved. Pawn takes. I mean, you're going to be down 2 queens. I mean, there's not much. There's not much you can hope for here if you're Corey, except for perhaps some sort of internet disconnection. Look at that beautiful check. That was mate too. I mean, incredible. 2 queens, discovery. Brian, team captain, comes up huge, taking down a 25.80 rated player. Major gambit disorder also gets the point. Top 2 boards from Washington State take down the top 2 boards from Pittsburgh. They're both 3 for 3. Perfect. Black has mate in 1. There it is. Perry finishes the sweep for this Washington State team. 4-8. And now they have draw odds in the 4th round. This is demolition in the second half. Man, Pittsburgh just got hit hard by the Cougars. That's they're gonna have to sweep back if they're to force overtime, but that to me that's enough. I mean, I don't know if Pittsburgh has it in them. They're gonna have to dig deep. Their last game of the season on the line. They need a win on every single board. They should have gotten their other 2,500 on the roster as well. Who is that? Jeffrey. Agents, dude, they have Justin Leong. That's crazy. That feels like a throwback name. Dude streamed like back in the day. Oh my god. I didn't know he was there. Well, with him, then they'd be higher than D8 for sure. If you have two 2,500s, although Corey, I guess, kind of tough. He lost to Brian in that last round. But, Pittsburgh's not out of it yet. Pittsburgh's not out of it yet. It's the 4th round. Brian now with the black pieces. Whoa, takes here. Fancy. Giving up the bishop on his terms. Takes. If takes. Corey and Agent, both from Michigan. Dude, Jeffrey knows everything about everyone. Shout out to Jeffrey, by the way. Huge win in the round of 16 for the Pennsylvania Collegiate Speed Chess Championship. I think he had a perfect, almost 30 zip run against the 16th seed. So that's exciting. We rated in to tune in for that earlier today. Shout out to the Pennsylvania, what is it, college chess? I guess that's right. That seems right. Anyways. All right. Who's going to be the hero for Washington? 25 zip. Yeah, basically 30 zip. We do a little guesstimating. Rounding up. I mean, still. 25. It's a quarter of 100 games in a row. Is pretty impressive. And you guys should have gotten Justin Leong into that championship. Did he play? He should have tried to qualify. Dang. Shout out to Nate from Shippensburg to coordinate all of that. Would be cool if people tried to help coordinate and advertise. Get some other Pennsylvania talents in, like Justin. Also, I don't know if UPenn has been involved at all with CCL or the ambassador program. I think we've gotten one ambassador before, but didn't quite work out. This game is unfortunately trading off a lot of material really quickly. Brian ends up a pawn, but the more material you trade off, the harder it is for Tai to come back and try to get some points. Bishop to a6, attacking that pawn. That pawn can push and does so. Bishop attacks the b pawn. The b pawn can be defended. Honestly, king c6 is kind of scary. I guess you allow rook e7. Okay, check. King up. No, but this is looking great for Brian. Team captain Brian, he's been doing great. I mean, he's been perfect, 3 for 3. Same with their top board against Corey. Corey hasn't spent barely any time at all. He's induced g5. This could be a weakness for sure. Bishop offering a trade. Probably knight e5. Makes a lot of sense. You got Alex Fishbein's son. 2300 rated son. What school does he go to? Yeah, I saw you guys were mentioning trying to get him on to commentate. That'd be cool. Lehigh. There's a lot of talent in college chess that unfortunately doesn't play in the CCL. What can we do to change that? How do we get these random titled players to join? I know some of them are busy. I'm kind of worried that UChicago won't register again. We were able to get them on to broadcast once the entire season. You don't know what happened to UPenn? Yeah, I guess me neither. Okay. Okay, what's happening here? Computer likes bishop h4. That makes sense. Pawn push, knight takes, you name it. So Corey, yeah, weak king here from Drew. But can Pittsburgh come back on other boards? Let's check on the team captain, Mimoshi versus Perry. I said Perry was the favorite in this one. Here he moves the king, logically so. Here the knight attacks both bishop and pawn, so probably you want to remove that knight with the bishop. So we have a passed e-pawn, but it's a little loose. But takes, you also clear the way for the a-pawn. You can go a5, a4, a3, try to make a second passer. This is Moshi's best opportunity. Bottom two boards from Pittsburgh. They haven't gotten any points yet, so final round to do so. Let's check on the bottom boards. Andrew versus Marco. Marco looks to have a slight advantage. Knight takes. That's a peculiar move. Probably just king takes was better. Now we allow knight g3. The computer, some reason, likes bishop f5, sacking the rook. Here now, white can play e4. Yeah, you make one backwards knight move, and lo and behold, white can now just push forward, pushing you back. So, and you spin an extra move, bring the knight back to f5. Trying to kick out a knight that your knight let in to the position. So Andrew didn't play for e4. This allows black to use the f5 square again. We see a trade on c5. If black takes back, which probably they should, white's going to be left with a connected pass pawn. But black can also take on c2. Although white would have a take on d6 intermezzo. So takes on c5. The threat is to take and take. Knight comes back, saving itself from the bishop. We could double against this pawn, actually. Very difficult to hold on to this, as if the knight goes here, bishop here should just about do it, because you can't defend both of these. If you defend this, well, we're going to take and take. This is looking great for Marco. Marco's less than a minute, though. We have a result. It doesn't even matter. Brian gets the sweep complete. Yeah. Ty Roberts goes down to the captain and board 2. And with that, Washington State, they win with 5 unanswered games. 9-4. 3 games remaining. Drew, less than 20 seconds. Corey's about to finish this one off. Okay, computer hated that move. It wanted queen g5. Pawn push, pawn takes. Here it wants king f8. Okay, knight here. This allows queen f7, which is pretty brutal. Okay, that wasn't played. Here, and now knight takes e4. Pawn takes back. King up, opens up the h file. The king can run. Computer likes rook at d8. 3 seconds, 2 seconds. King runs. Queen h7 is the recommendation, threatening checkmate on h8. As well as, not a skewer, but okay, 2 seconds, 1 second, gotta move. 2.7 on the clock, over 3 minutes for Corey. Again, results here at this stage don't really matter, to be honest. But, okay, game played out nonetheless. White can just win the exchange with a move like knight g6. Okay, takes the h-pawn, queen steps up. I don't know, probably like lift our rook or something. Honestly, Corey is not using his time at all. Probably could have found some better moves, because black is trying to get back into it. Queen h7 threatening rook g8, but king runs. Computer likes knight takes on f7, which is pretty nice. If queen takes, rook g7 wins the queen. Another results, Perry beats Momoshi. So Momoshi getting swept. Rook here first allows for that. Wow. Corey's losing. I don't know how you have so much time on your clock and you make these blunders. I'm sorry if I'm being rude, but I don't get it. You're down. You just lost a piece. Honestly, yeah, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The match is lost by, I mean, Washington State, they're looking for another sweep, honestly. They're looking to just sweep the second half of this match. The wind got completely knocked out of Pittsburgh sails in round 3. Yeah. Andrew here has just completely tied it up in terms of material. Grabbing more material. Now it's just one pawn for both sides. Don't take that. Oh, no. Elite Barbs with one last trick up their sleeves. Baits the opponent to take a poison pawn. And there goes their rook. All right, well. Marco going to at least get one win for Pittsburgh in the second half. This core game is absolutely crazy. G5, G4. This is the beginning of the end here for the top board from here just it wants queen f7. That's just huge. Trade here, knight f7, and then rook here first, now allowing rook takes, pawn takes, and there goes this. Down a knight, some checks, some more checks, queen trade. Trade off here, there goes this pawn. Now the knight's coming in. Absolute ring around the rosy here. E6 is top recommended move. It's been played out. The king's going to chase down the pawns. Uh-oh. Black's going to win this one now. Okay. So yeah, what happened around here? What needed to take place? The king needs to just run over sooner. The pawn push doesn't help. Here, and again, king d6. King here allows for the knight to move with a check. So if you go here, you box out the knight. Anyways, Major Gambit Disorder ends with a sweep. Corey loses the last two games, and top two boards from Washington State just completely dominate. And Elite Barb's Marco gets the only point in the second half for this Pittsburgh team, and his first point of the match. But yeah, final score 11-5 Washington State. They are your Division 8 champions. They take home the $400 prize, and they conclude the Collegiate Chess League Spring 2024 season. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been an absolute honor. I want to thank everyone for participating and for playing and for watching and just being here. Special shout out to the team captains, the organizers, the club leaders, the ambassadors. You guys make everything work smoothly. And yeah, what a season it's been. It's been our best. It's been our biggest. Most number of teams, most number of schools, most number of countries, most number of players, most number of divisions. I don't even know if I said that already, but we just beat every single record. And yeah, I can't wait for next school year. It's going to be bigger and better. And stay tuned for the end of season survey, because that's where you're going to give us all of your feedback. Now, I do have one last thing before I go. If you are a team captain, you should have received some drawstring bags. And if you remember from Pan Am's last year, we actually gave out some hoodies, which we've since upgraded with the new logo. So I've gotten some of that merch sent to me, so I'm going to open that actually right now. In case you didn't get it, maybe your name's Brody and you weren't in the CCL. Let's see what you missed out on. So here we go. This is the drawstring bag. Now, there's a limited number of these left. We decided to put them live on the website. So if you want to purchase them, you're more than welcome to. The link was posted in Discord. I also have the hoodie, so let's open this up. The hoodie should also be linked. Also, I think exclamation point merch, and you should be able to find it. Let's see. All right, look at this. This is the newer logo that we have. The nice little spring colors there. Anyways, you guys, yeah, I can't thank everyone enough. It's been amazing, and we have so much more on the books coming up. Some exciting things that we're working on that I can't quite share yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. Stay tuned, you guys. Join the Discord. If you want those hoodies, you should definitely check them out. All right, guys, that's it for now. I don't even know if we're going to be running the podcast episode still. We'll see. So yeah, things to look forward to. Obviously next season, but it's going to be quite a while from now. It's going to be like September, announced probably around August. Um, and then we have our summer season. So that's going to be announced on Discord as well. We always do a Bullet Championship. We always do a Bug House Championship. I think this summer we're going to introduce the Team Battle Championship. That's going to be the 2 versus 2 format, similar to what Fabi and Christian won on chess.com's main broadcast, beating Danya and Hess. It's like Hand and Brain, but without the restrictions, right? It's just the weaker player uses the mouse, but the stronger player can tell them pretty much anything, and they just work together. We'll also be bringing back our weekly summer arenas at some point with the prize memberships. And then, yeah, other things for the ambassador program. We should be doing April arena, as we haven't quite announced it yet. But a similar sort of bracket with multi-club arenas. Anyways, that's it for now and for the season. It's been an honor. And yeah, I'll see you guys all next time. Take care.